Hey guys, welcome back to combo class. Today we're gonna have a slightly more chill type of lesson because today we're on lunch break. That's how I'm using two markers at once. Alright, now before we do any factual stuff, I do want to eat my lunch and I got my silverware here, but I don't have any food right here. Good thing it's springtime and I live near a garden that I share with some neighbors that has some pretty awesome edible stuff in it. So let's find some edible stuff. Now, not all of the fruits are ready, like this good old fig tree doesn't have any figs yet, but this good old crooked monster does remind me a little bit of myself right now. Like you can tell by these unevenly colored shoes that I'm trying to compensate for a weird height difference until I get a hip surgery pretty soon. Gonna be one of the younger folks to need a hip surgery. I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's look for something edible, like this apple tree right here, which even though most of its blossoms are still just at the flower stage because it's spring, something weird happened with this apple tree just this year, where it kept these like long, thin apples that came between seasons. So these long, thin apples are still here, even while the next season's blossoms are blooming. They taste almost correct, so we'll put this on our plate. Now, sometimes citrus lasts on all kinds of seasons, so we still got lemons here. Now, here on my guava tree, the guavas aren't ready yet, but a few of these flowers came early, and surprisingly, on a guava plant, at least of this pineapple guava type, the petals are edible. Now here mixed in with these clovers, which are just three-leafers that I see unfortunately, we do have some sour grass fellas. I used to chew on these as a kid, so let's try it again. So these nasturtiums here would in some seasons have edible petals they would produce like the guavas, but not right now. However, these weird tendril things sprouted out of an onion. So there was an onion that I planted here in the soil after it was starting to already grow some of those tendril things that come out when you leave like onions or potatoes out too long. Well, planted in here and watered, it grew this thing, and the tips of it are edible green onions. Now here we got some dandelions mixed in the garden, both ones where the fruit, and yeah, that's technically the fruit of the plant, where the fruit has blossomed into this fluffy thing, and some where it hasn't yet. So, apparently these are edible. I've never tried them before, but let's try them. So even in the springtime, when you don't get all the summer fruits yet, sometimes you can find some cool edible stuff in a garden. Not bad. That was good. Now that I'm full, I'm ready to teach a little bit. Even though it's lunch break, I want to talk a little bit about some symbols that aren't numbers or letters called punctuation. Like we all know this one called the period. That one's pretty useful. Divides up your sentences, chops them into different pieces. We also know this one called the comma. Pretty awesome. Helps you make sentences more long and windy and connected. There's a little debate on when you should use commas in lists, so I would like to say that combo class is officially pro Oxford comma, at least for the time being. Also pro using more parentheses. I think that those should be more utilized in modern language in random ways. And of course, we get some classics, like the question mark. A question? One of the greatest essences of life. And an exclamation mark, an exclamation feeling, one of the other greatest things in life, which is why when you combine these, which I don't know why this isn't more utilized, you get this symbol that is technically known as the interrobang. That's its technical name, is the interrobang. I'm not the one who named it. And some people draw it with this one just coming up part way. Some people draw it all the way over. In any case, I love this symbol. It represents kind of the meaning of my life or my show. It's like you got this yelled question about something, a question with passion. Now, if that's my favorite symbol, I do have to give a shout out to my second favorite symbol, the good old ampersand. Now, this ampersand is not just a little symbol that means and once in a while, but not that long ago, this was the 27th letter. This was actually the one after Z that they included in the alphabet. Like the parentheses and the interrobang, these should be used a lot more. So that's our little lunch break look at punctuation. Not letters, not numbers, but they are useful symbols. Gotta love your good old glyphs. Now, wrapping up our lunch break out here in the beautiful garden, let's see what class rules we need to add that we've learned about today. Now, rule number 5 is obviously that petting an animal's belly is a holy act. One of the most holy acts. And with my cats, oh man, that holiness when I get to pet their bellies, that rejuvenates me. Rule number 6 that we gotta put down here is to expand your view of what's edible. I ate a bunch of plants there and I'm doing fine. You know, if you were stuck foraging, obviously do your research first. Don't go just picking mushrooms and eating mushrooms and stuff, people. But, you know, if you do your research, there's probably some interesting edible stuff growing right around your corner. Hey, Aaron, you want the other half?
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks. All right, guys, thank you for joining me here for a little lunch break for our combo class today. You know, sometimes you gotta take a little break to sit back, look at some punctuation, and eat some random stuff from your garden. But I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have a wonderful combo filled day.